Mike.
Hi, my name is Michael Lubina. I am a captain in the Army Reserves, and I can cook. I'm a good cook. Actually, I'm the cook out of the Lubina household. I am the cook. I don't do dishes. My family was not spiritual at all. I wish they would have been, otherwise my parents would have been together. My parents separated when I was in middle school. I remember my mom told me, "Yep, you're the man of the house." So that was a big shocker. For most of my life, I lived as, if you can imagine, just a branch, a piece of driftwood, just floating along a river, traveling and going around to places I shouldn't be in, being around in dirty creeks where I shouldn't be there. Just for much of my life until I really hit college. I have two loving relatives, my auntie and my uncle, who brought me to church. I couldn't I didn't know how to read a Bible. I've been a drifting branch that's been going here and there everywhere without knowing what to do, without any direction, without my dad. Like for instance, I didn't know what to do. I didn't have a father figure. I hanged out with the wrong crowd and did some things that I wasn't proud of. The ups and downs of life, I was down. I've been living, there's up to a point where that branch it just dwindles and dries up. But I'm very thankful that through Christ, I feel like I'm being reborn. I feel like a healthy, strong branch. Being close to His vine. Well, me and Rosalie were dating at the time, and I remember the first thing my in-laws, back then her parents would ask, "Is he Christian?" Of course I am. And so Rosalie said, "Hey, I'd like you to visit BCC and to meet, of course, the Christian family that I have there." And I said, "Okay." And just walking into the church. And just like, so this is the guy, and being introduced immediately to the Christian family, listening to Pastor Butch preach, and of course the Heights performing. I was touched. I was touched very, very much to see that there's so much love. There's so much that you can see the love of Jesus through the people in His church. You can see the mercy that's there, and that's how I came to BCC. I mean, it's wonderful how how strong the foundation this church has in the Lord, and how the people in it are just so loving and caring. You can see the Lord touching their lives and lighting up each other. He lighting up me. Immediately I think of BCC brings peace, joy, and love to me. It's just I just love it. I'll be honest with you, I've never really had a Christian family. Even though we grew up, even though my auntie and uncle were in a big church, it was just a big church. Like, I didn't experience the every Friday is a Bible study group, Wednesday is a prayer meeting, Saturday is practice. I wasn't as involved back then as I am now. I mean, it's a blessing to see that there's so much to be a part of in the kingdom of Christ and to glorifying Him. That's what I love about BCC, is that it's family, and it's a blessing every day. And I can't wait for every Sunday to be here. So that's how I feel. It's Monday. I gotta wait a couple more days until Sunday. Well, not necessarily, because then you have Wednesday. So.
I think I became very different when my husband left for deployment in Iraq. That really broke my heart. I didn't know how to go about it, but it was a blessing that I have people here in church who has gone through what I've gone through, such as that of Kuya Voltaire. He knew what I was going through, and he was there to, give me godly wisdom, advice on how to go about deployments and what to do. And even the many wives here in church who's not an army wife, they knew how heartbroken I was, and they were just so loving towards me, even though I acted very, very. I tried to make myself look so strong, and to make everybody seem like everything was fine. But every time different ladies would approach me and say, "How are you doing?" I would break down and I would tell them everything that was going on through me. But before that, when they would say, "How are you? How are you doing?" I'd just say, I'm fine, everything's okay. I'd have that different facade, a different look about me. But they knew something else, so helping me to be open and honest with myself about what I was feeling, what I was going through. And they were there to give me encouragement and give me comfort. And just, even when they didn't know what to say or how to go about making me feel better as a wife, as an army wife, they would just give me a hug. And that was enough to just make me feel better. You do need people, especially godly women, and of course men also, who are there to just stand by you and remind you, hey, everything will be fine, we're here when you need us. And they mean it when they say that. So I'm just very blessed to have a church family who's always there and available, a phone call away to give you an encouragement, to pray with you when you need it, and to just... Mike and I want to serve the Lord together, and hopefully this will be a testimony to others, to other young couples. We want to serve the Lord together as a couple.
Because with Christ at the center of our marriage, I really think that is the strongest bond. And without that bond, our marriage would be shaky and troubled. Hi, I'm Mike.
And I'm Ging.
Together we are being transformed here at the Biblical Community Church.
I'm Elva Barica, and today's my anniversary, 22 years, so I'm praising God all day for that. I'm just in awe of His grace in my marriage and my family. I have 3 wonderful sons. They're 14, 18, and soon to be 21, and I love the Lord more and more every day. Every time I come to church, I'm refreshed with His love. Through the 22 years, we've been through some really highs and lows in our marriage, but every step of the way He's been relentless, in the smallest of love to the biggest of love. So He shows it every single time. I used to hold grudges, and I was a very proudful person. I'm Latina, so that comes kind of within my nature, my innate nature, and Dennis can speak to that a lot. But I was really humbled in that I needed to be more like Jesus, and He reminds me every day still. So when I feel a little bit of that, inching in and creeping in again, He reminds me in His Word in the mornings in my quiet time. I didn't have a voice before. I didn't feel like I had a voice, and in using BCC in the church, I'm really understanding what a heart of worship is. And I'm really lost when I'm singing praises or I'm hearing Pastor, with a lesson for the day, or a story that's being shared of a blessing received or a prayer answered. That's how God uses BCC in my life. It's just a reminder every day to live for Him. The Biblical Community Church to me is family.
Amen.
That's it.
when I first came from California and I moved to here, I went to different churches before I came to a biblical community church. Ricky Cruda invited me and my wife here. So we came in here, and we were on a different building then, and I watched you guys worship God. One specific moment, if I could remember from the beginning, is that I watched you over a double tree, and you guys were just worshiping God. The song was Let Them All Praise the Name of the Lord. I still remember it. Up to now, it's still my favorite. But that one moment when I saw the whole church lifting their hands up, worshiping God, I knew this is a church that loves to worship. And this church is a close-knit family and a fellowship of brothers and sisters that are truly, genuinely trying to seek the Lord. The worship in here and the teaching is so balanced, and that not only you're growing in your worship and spiritual, you're also growing in your spiritual growth. So to describe the church, I would say it's a very balanced church. I'm growing in my worship and learning how to worship and the attitude of worship. And at the same time also growing spiritually. Which is what I look for in a church, a balanced church. Not just worship, but also spiritual growth. Our pastor has a unique style of teaching, if I should say, that it is so, it's a complete mixture of application and doctrine, which is a good thing for me. I love that style of preaching and teaching.
Well, I think with Aaron, he started playing in the worship team. And God really used him to, to pick up that guitar and to learn to play for him. So he was, he's got a great story to tell one day. I can't wait to hear it.
Also Levi. Levi is now one to be excited to go to church. But in here, he doesn't mind going. As a matter of fact, I don't have to really kick his bed or something to wake him up in the morning. So that's a good thing, and I can see those changes in them. And Seth is always inquiring minds.
Mm-hmm.
He wants to know about God. So he loves his discussions with Pastor Robert. My name is Dennis.
My name is Elva.
And our lives are being transformed here at Biblical Community Church.